News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Denise Pellegrini. More indications about job cuts coming in the Defense Department. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth has signed a memorandum that aims to reduce the Department of Defense's civilian workforce. That's as the federal government seeks to cut spending. The Department of Defense previously announced plans back in February to fire between 5 and 8% of its civilian workforce. Pentagon currently employs about 950,000 civilians. That suggests cuts could impact as many as 76,000 people. U.S. stocks fell sharply yesterday on concern about tariffs and also concern about waning consumer confidence. Tech stocks especially hard hit. Kevin Gordon, senior investment strategist at Charles Schwab, sees the job market iffy right now.
The labor market is not strengthening. It's yes, in a relatively good spot, but it's also in a relatively fragile spot. You don't want to have to, take a sledgehammer to any parts of it and see if it's, working or just to see how strong it is because there are cracks that have formed.
Gordon is senior investment strategist at Charles Schwab. President Trump yesterday said he is open to negotiations that would reduce tariffs he's planning to implement on countries this coming week. Trump yesterday also called his discussions with Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney productive, a tone that Carney echoed in his comments. Elon Musk's XAI startup has swallowed up X social network in a surprise deal at a valuation of $33 billion, with the combined entity valued at over $100 billion. The all-stock transaction for the former Twitter streamlines Musk's businesses and solidifies the relationship between XAI and X, which has used X data to hone its chatbot Grok. And the deal could set a framework for similar deals involving other social media companies. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky says Russia is mocking efforts towards peace. That following a deadly overnight drone barrage across several Ukrainian regions. Zelensky saying on X, Russia attacked Ukraine with more than 170 drones, including hundreds targeting multiple regions, including Kyiv. The U.S. this month brokered a partial ceasefire in the 3-month-old conflict covering strikes against energy facilities. Ukraine has accused Russia of violating that truce. Vice President J.D. Vance continuing his travels and criticizing Denmark for not doing, he says, a good job of keeping Greenland safe and underinvesting in the island's people. Greenland Danish Foreign Minister Lake Rasmussen says Denmark is willing to discuss a larger U.S. security presence, but
let me be completely honest. We do not appreciate the tone in which is being delivered. This is not how you speak to your close allies.
And meantime, President Trump believes the U.S. needs control of Greenland for international security. He cites the presence of Chinese and Russian ships in the area. More turnover at Columbia University. Another president there has resigned. Bloomberg's Dan Schwartzman reports.
Columbia University's interim president, Katrina Armstrong, has stepped down after taking over the role in August. Armstrong had agreed to a list of a series of demands from the Trump administration, including banning masks at campus protests in response to Trump freezing $400 million in federal funding. Claire Shipman, co-chair of the trustees, has been named acting president effective immediately. Armstrong will return to her previous roles, including chief executive officer of Columbia's Irving Medical Center and executive vice president for health and biomedical sciences. Columbia has been in the crosshairs of the Trump administration, who says the school has not done enough to combat anti-Semitism on campus. I'm Dan Schwartzman, Bloomberg Radio.
Thank you, Dan. In the Middle East, suspected U.S. airstrikes pounding Yemen overnight, reportedly killing at least one person, according to AP, as the U.S. military acknowledged earlier bombing a major military site in the heart of Sana'a, controlled by Houthi rebels. And the attacks followed a night of airstrikes early Friday that appeared particularly intense. The death toll from the 7.7 magnitude earthquake in Myanmar has passed 1,000. Thousands other injured and missing, and teams are also searching for dozens of people missing from a collapsed high-rise building in Bangkok. And that's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Denise Pellegrini, and this is Bloomberg.